are watching Agent on Duty with myself, your host, Stacey Prieur, and joined today are my special guest, Lucier and Krystal. Hey guys, how's it going?
Stacey.
Hi.
One of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the show is not only are you both independent entrepreneurs, but you're a couple that are entrepreneurs as well. So I know that there's a lot of listeners out there that they own their own companies, they try to manage their own independent businesses, and just from a personal perspective, that comes with a lot of challenges. But then when you also incorporate a partner in the mix, I'm sure there's all sorts of fun that we can share with our viewers today. How long have you guys been together?
I'm going to let Krystal answer most of the relationship stuff. Smart.
We've been together for about a little over 4 years, and we've been married for 2 years coming up in June.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Being in COVID in the honeymoon period, has that been a pro or a con?
Like most couples, I think we had to figure out COVID together. I think Krystal has a certain schedule and I am used to a certain schedule. And when they collided at the beginning of COVID, it caused some conversations to be had and some realizations of managing our own expectations, I think, as well, too. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. So before we get too into it, let's talk a little bit about what each of you guys do. Brett, since you're first on my screen, we'll start with you.
Perfect. Yeah, I own Provincial Glass and Mirror. Obviously, Provincial Glass and Mirror is an established company in the city. I have been with Provincial Glass for 20 years. Basically started at the bottom, now I'm on top. So,
we on top.
So yeah, I could tell you a little bit more about that later, but I mean, right now, Provincial handles both commercial and residential. And whether it's vinyl windows, shower enclosures, as well as your business storefront windows, doors, hardware, any of that type of stuff. That's us in a nutshell, basically. Not just glass and mirrors, but also windows and doors as well.
As opposed to smoke and mirrors. And Krystal, sorry, your name is a mouthful. Krystal Lee Moore. You're like the Pamela Lee Anderson of real estate with all the names. So, and obviously the good looks. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, Krystal.
Stacey, I'm a realtor with Royal LePage Triland here in London, and I have been a realtor since 2011, so 10 years. But I started out in Ottawa doing it part-time, and then I was in Guelph full-time for 8 years before I got married and moved to the Forest City for Brett. So I specialize in helping first-time buyers and recently, I guess people who want to sell but haven't done it in quite a while. So first time and a long time sellers. And it's just about helping people. That's just I love it. I love being that extra person that someone can lean on. And I feel very, very lucky that my transition into London has gone as smoothly as it has.
Amazing. And are you reaping all the rewards from Brett's referrals or what?
Brett actually has been very, very supportive in my business. We had that talk kind of early on that he knew so many realtors, and but now, yeah, I think I made my way to the top of the list.
Kind of, right? A little bit. Started from the bottom, now you on top. That's what I was going to say, because it's so funny. I actually just, we had an instance with one of the clients, the sellers, they had a huge windstorm, and I'm sure you get this a lot, Brett, where all of a sudden a tree goes through a window and then they expect to just go to the window store, pick up a window, pop it in. It's not really the case. That's not really what happens, right?
It is not. Yeah, we do offer 24-hour emergency service, but some things are out of our control. Obviously, our main purpose on emergency calls such as that is to make sure people are safe and secure. So whether it involves boarding it up properly, which 9 times out of 10 people that board it up don't realize what they're doing and end up ruining the window or door. The other option is we can do a temporary glaze, or sometimes we can fix it on the spot if it is something single glazed or something along that lines that we could fix it right away. So it really depends on the situation.
Okay, guys, we're gonna head to break, and then when we get back, I want to get into a little bit more about that because I have had some instances, and I want to set the expectations for viewers because a lot of people don't really know what goes on behind the process. So, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Agent on Duty with myself, your host, Stacey Prieur, and joined with me are my special guests, Brett Lucier from Provincial Glass and Krystal Lucier from Royal LePage. So, guys, we were kind of just chit-chatting a little bit about your relationships, the dynamics of being an entrepreneur. Also, we were talking about what goes on with windows. So, we've talked a little bit about real estate, and we're talking a little bit about what happens with window reparations. So I just want to get into that because that does frequently happen. And Krystal, I'm sure you can attest to it. There's been a couple oopses, I'm sure, in your career too, where something's happened and you've had to lean on the hubby. So Brett, with setting expectations? So like I said, there was an instance with my clients where a tree went through the window. Krystal, have you ever had anything like this, any sort of encounters right before close with either a seller or a buyer?
I haven't had any window emergencies, so I'm happy to say about that. We have had some other, like the water heater broke the day before closing, and it wasn't a rental, and so that was so that I've had a lot of things like that. Usually, I will bug Brett during showings or in walkthroughs for instant quotes, and he does not appreciate that. Because I don't have the measurements. I just take a photo and I say, like, what do you think? And he's like, can you get me some more information, please?
Just ballpark it.
And that's actually very common, actually. That's for realtors or homeowners. I see that a lot. I'll get a picture or a description and how much is this? And I have to go into, while there's many different variables, I need the size, I need the color, I need the hardware, I need the glass type. There's so many different variables that go into a price, but that's what people expect right away is I need a price right now, which is.
I love that you're throwing yourself under the bus, Krystal.
Well, she can, and absolutely. Yeah. I give her the best prices that we possibly can in the moment, but like I would anyone. So even though Krystal is on the top, she does not get preferential that way.
I've tried. It doesn't work. Everyone gets the same lead time and everything.
Saying something about the cobblers and their shoes or something along. Yeah,
I say that all the time. Yeah.
You say what, you love all your children equally or something like.
Well, that's it. True. Yes. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. No favorites. No favorites.
No favorites. Okay, guys. So I want to kind of dig into the dynamics between your relationship too, and also with working in tandem in businesses where you could refer, or how does your timing work? How does that? I'm going to say, when it comes to entrepreneurs, you two being both independently running businesses, that does automatically kind of make you a power couple. So how do you guys set boundaries when it comes to that?
First things first, I think when Krystal and I first met, I think we became friends first. And it was something that we just enjoyed talking to each other. And we had very similar interests and values. And I even hate to admit it, but she's really funny. So, and witty. So that was something that I really played off of because I love someone that's funny and witty. And I think that's kind of how we connected to begin with. And that's carried through to today with our relationship, is that I think we both like to laugh. So if we can get that daily laugh or that reason to put a smile on our face, it's usually from the other person. So that's kind of carried through.
Absolutely.
Now, like anything else, we've come through with challenges for sure. As a realtor, Stacey, you'd know that it's a 24-hour job. I mean, it could be, Krystal's, a late night person and can also be an early morning person. And it never stops.
6 months. Yeah.
Log out. I'm in at 8. I'm done at 5. That's kind of what I'd like to have happen. It doesn't necessarily work that way, but that's, so it's been a struggle that way. And there has to be a balanced understanding of your partner as well, I think.
It
And
takes a lot of understanding for sure, but I think a big piece of how we even connected was through networking. Like that's how we met, with networking. And I actually won a mirror that Brett had donated to an event, to Mo Mondays here in London.
oh,
So that was, it was
Best
a nice,
ever. Yeah.
well, it was great because I got to meet a cool person. He gave back to the community and I was networking. So I think a big piece of being social and networking and giving back was what connected us. And he's very understanding about the real estate, because there are times, like sometimes on a Saturday, we'll go like golfing, like perfect example. We were golfing and I had to skip a hole because I had someone call me and I had to deal with it right away.
yep.
And I don't have it. I don't know, I could maybe do better boundaries, but that's the care. I like being that person to help. So
No, I completely get that. And we are going to go for a quick break. And I want to kind of tag into the understanding and what goes on with time blocking and your relationship. Okay, so let's put a pin in that. And we are going to go to break and we'll see you in a bit. And we're back. You're tuning into Agent on Duty with myself, your host, Stacey Prieur, and joined with me are my guests, Brett Lucier and Krystal Moore. Lucier, me personally, I was also married to another realtor, and we were running a company as well. So time blocking was really huge for us, and that actually was a huge stressor in our relationship because we never had an off button, and we were always talking about business. And even when we were on the golf course, it was kind of like, things come and you get interrupted. So I wanted to really talk to you about that. And Krystal, I'm going to throw this one to you about time blocking because I know that you've had some specific training, if I'm not mistaken.
So I think a big piece of my success in business and also in our relationship has been the coaching opportunities that I've been lucky enough to have. When I first started, I had moved to a new city. I didn't know any people, and I started doing training with Buffini and Company. So if you don't know about them, they're a training company out in Carlsbad, California. It's all about relationships and helping and serving, and it really spoke to me. And with that, you get a coach, and the coaches really help you with goal setting and time blocking and time management, which has been a struggle for me because it's not, as you know, very intimately, it's not a normal 9 to 5. So sometimes your day starts at 7 a.m. Sometimes it starts at 11 a.m. It really depends. I know some of my colleagues have been able to get that 9 to 5, but it hasn't worked for me because of the diversity in my clients. And then kind of another boost when I moved to London was Kathleen Black Coaching Company. So I have two coaches. My coach with Kathleen Black is a little bit more focused on the business aspect, not necessarily the relationships, and really helping me focus and make sure that I am time blocking, that I am making time for things. And Ron, my coach, is a big fan of Brett. He thinks that Brett is just perfect for me in so many ways, but especially in business, because it takes a lot of, as we said, a lot of understanding. And I feel you about talking about business all the time, because I definitely find that it's nice to talk about business, but sometimes you want to talk about other things. So I'm happy that we talk about more than just business.
Yep.
For sure. And I think that's something that you've done very well is Krystal's. I've been able to balance that pretty well, where I'm good to be that sounding board that she needs, because sometimes you need to vent, because, not all clients and customers are great. And not all situations go well. So sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes it's about other realtors. Sometimes it's about a lawyer. Sometimes it's about, tradesmen or other things that you have to deal with. You just need to vent. And I completely understand, because I have those same issues, that people, and we talked about expectations, and people expect things from you. And it's good to have that partner that you can rely on just to listen. I think is the most thing. Is just, we don't need an answer. I just want to just vent.
Being independently employed, what do you think is one of the biggest assets of that and your relationship? Like taking it from the flip side, instead of the time and all the other pressures, what do you think being independently employed and being with someone who's also an entrepreneur benefits your relationship?
I think it's freedom. I think we have that freedom that we both kind of run our own businesses, and we run our own teams and our own employees and things like that. So it allows us to be able to, you know what, maybe we're going to run away this weekend and we're just going to find time for ourselves, and or maybe we are going to hit the golf course, or we're going to go hiking, or we're going to do something. We can make our own schedule. And I think maybe Krystal can talk more to this. I think that was kind of her original, like she had that kind of 9 to 5 job. And I think that was something that I think kind of was kind of a draw for you being a realtor, I think was,
Oh, yes.
was that.
Absolutely. It was actually a struggle for me when I first joined a brokerage in Guelph, and they soon came to realize I worked just as hard, just not at 9 a.m. And the issue for me was that if I am going to be taking on all this risk and I am going to be embarking on this new career, I'd like to do it on my own terms. I have the most energy late afternoon, and then I can work till 2 or 3 in the morning. We have been working lately on not doing that because I'm trying to get up with Brett when he goes to work and go to bed at a reasonable hour, which everyone has a different definition. I say midnight, and I think we agree on that. But it is tough. It is tough to get into a routine where that it works for both, because we did find that when I was working until 2 or 3 in the morning, we weren't seeing each other as much, and that's tough.
And
Yeah.
I'm kind of giggling because I don't know if you were a bartender or a waitress, but I'm like, that is my schedule to a T. And like legit, that's what I used to do is I'd wake up around like 11 and then go till like 2 or 3 in the morning. And it's been hard for me to adjust to get up at like 7:30. I'm like, I remember going to bed at when you said.
Right? It's tough. And I didn't work I worked at Shoppers Drug Mart all through university and in high school, and then I worked in offices. So I don't know where the energy comes from, but I get more energy as the night goes on. So
Nice. So you're a morning person, Brett, I take it?
I'm not actually.
No, you're not.
It's funny. I'm forced to be a morning person for my job because I have to be here before 8 o'clock every morning, regardless. But I've always thought of myself as more of a night owl, because that's, again, I was big into the kind of the bar scene at certain times as well too. And you go until the bar closes and then wherever the night takes you. So I guess, that's kind of changed now, but I mean, yeah, I have no problem on weekends staying up late now, but during the week, I think, like last night, I think we fell asleep pretty early last night.
So what made you guys get into running your own businesses? Like, the entrepreneur life isn't for everybody. So just quickly, Brett, what made you decide to get into this?
It's funny. So my background is, and my original plan was architecture. So that's my fascination. I love architecture. I jumped at first chance I could get at that. Long story short, got accepted to the University of Michigan, had to turn it down based on finances, and ended up going to Fan Shop and took architectural technology, which led me through a couple of different places, architects, engineers, and then led me to designing kitchens and sunrooms. And then next thing you know, I ended up at Provincial Glass as a junior estimator.
Wow.
And then basically worked my way up from that. Quickly learned that I was better suited for the office than the field. I broke half the glass I put in, so I quickly had the nickname 50/50. So I mean, yeah, my brains are better than my brawn, I think, and I kind of worked my way through that, and literally from the bottom to the top, and I wouldn't change a thing.
And Krystal, what made you get into real estate?
So originally I was actually going to be a lawyer. So I went to school for my undergrad in law, and then I worked at a law firm trying to save money for law school. And I realized very quickly that what I thought being a lawyer would be and what being a lawyer would be were very, very different. I was thinking Legally Blonde, A Few Good Men, and bless all the lawyers in Ontario, because it is not like that. And I worked for another 5 years as a marketing and employment law clerk. And then it was my realtor who said, like, you should be a realtor. And at the time I didn't know very much about real estate, but I did not want to be one. And it was, but he planted a seed, and I looked into it, and I realized that everything I thought being a lawyer would actually be way closer to being a realtor. And that's how I started that. I did it part-time, and then I jumped in with both feet in Guelph, and then again here in London.
Well, I'm glad to have you as part of the real estate community.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about how to reach you guys if anyone's looking for real estate or looking for some new windows. All right, we'll be back. Stay tuned. And guys, we are back. You're just tuning into Agent on Duty with myself, Stacey Prieur, and my guests today, Brett Lucier and Krystal Lee Moore. Lucier, Brett's from Provincial Glass, and Krystal is from Royal LePage. Right before we leave, I wanted to get into one final bit of advice. And one of the things that we were talking about on break was that you guys and traveling. So being entrepreneurs, it's hard to leave your business. It's hard to leave your brand. But it is important. I mean, in a COVID-free society, when we're able to get back, getting away, the couples that get away together stay together. Is that what it is? Play together, stay together.
That's absolutely true. I think for me, I'm a person that when I first started Provincial Glass, I never took a vacation. I think there was almost 8 or 9 years there where I never took any time off, and that's all I knew. And I know when Krystal and I got together, she was a big traveler. So whether it was for conferences or whether it was for mission trips or whether it was, and I'm sure she'll tell you that how many times you've been to Africa? Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
First time you meet Krystal, I think that it comes right out. It'll be first things first is she's a realtor. Second thing is I've been to Africa 4 times. So it used to be 3, and then we went together. So,
yeah.
Well, what did you say Krystal's favorite line was to get you to go on vacations with her?
Yeah, well, that's what it was. Is that it was always my thing was I was going to travel when I retire, and Krystal's line that convinced me to travel was, "I'm not going to look this good in a bikini when you retire." So
that is one hell of a closing line, sister, or lack of clothing line.
We've been traveling a lot since that moment.
It makes sense now. Awesome. Okay, guys. So if anyone wants to reach you, whether it's for real estate or whether it's for mirrors or windows, where can they get in touch with you?
Everything for me is just at Provincial Glass. So whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's TikTok, all my social media is at Provincial Glass. So it's really simple, and I'm just Brett Lucier on Instagram and Facebook. So
I'm on Facebook, but I have a business page on Facebook, Krystal Moore Real Estate Sales, and Your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor is my tagline. So on Instagram, Your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, and I have a website, www.krystalleemore.ca.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for being guests on the show. It's been my absolute pleasure having you. And as always, to the viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.